Productivity tools. Who needs them? What are they? Do they make a difference? How much do they cost? How can I use them? Are they easy to use? How to choose them? From my experience as a productivity student, practitioner, and coach, I tend to see these questions get asked a lot. And what is more important is that for some people, not knowing the answer to one or more of these questions get to be the showstopper in their productivity journey. That's why in this course, I'm going to answer these questions and more so you get to start and continue your productivity journey seamlessly and without any troubles. In the beginning, I'm going to discuss some of the basics answering most of these questions, and then in the following sessions, I'm going to dive into 5 different main productivity toolkits that you need to know. So, let's open the mind map and start this course. Welcome to Wellbeing Toolkit, empowering you with the right tools so you can apply, achieve what you want, and upgrade your life. And if this is what you need, then join us. The first point in the basics is going to be the definition of the productivity itself. So what is productivity to you? For me, productivity is doing what you need to do, when you need to do it, where you need to do it, and feel rest about all this. So let's look at the 4 elements that I mentioned in this definition. The first one is the need versus the want. So productivity-wise, you have to do the things you need to, not the things you want to. The simple differentiation between need and want is that a need represents the necessity, while a want represents a desire. So you need to take care of your health by going to the gym. Instead, you want to watch the TV. The need might be writing an episode for your YouTube channel versus wanting to watch other YouTube videos. Sometimes the need and want can be the same thing. And this is the case I see when it becomes a habit. So if you're going to the gym on a daily basis, then by time you will want to go to the gym. And this is a good thing because it minimizes your motivation, meaning that you will need less motivation than you used to. It will make the outcome last longer. It will minimize the distractions. Second and third elements are when and where. So this is regarding the time and context. So doing what you need to do have to be in the appropriate time and context. And this is guided by either you or others. You can choose the time and context that it is best for the things you need to do, like creating a business, drafting your blog, maintaining your car, etc. Sometimes the when and where get to be decided by others, like your boss deciding a deadline for your presentation, or your partner deciding when and where to meet a client, or your spouse asking for errands in a specific time and context. The fourth element is the feeling. The rest is an acronym for relaxed, energized, satisfied, and terrific. So by doing the things you need to do when and where you see best fit, will make you more relaxed by crossing that item, will make you energized to do more, will make you satisfied for the time, energy, and effort paid, and you'll feel terrific that you achieved something. The other distinction in the feeling is feeling productive versus feeling busy. If you look at this list, doing them can make you feel productive or make you feel busy. So take the feedback survey, check email, answer phone, call that, finish report. If you're doing one of these because you need to do them, then this is a productive thing to do. Otherwise, doing them will make you feel busy, not productive. As you can see here, the passcode is the word priorities. If these points are priorities to you, then by all means, do them because this is the productive thing to do. And I can't think of any strong reference for this than the Urgent Important Matrix by Stephen R. Covey. In his Urgent Important Matrix, he classified things as urgent and not urgent, important and not important. And then in the matrix, you have these 4 results. You have the urgent, important things to do, and these are the crisis or the pressing problems, deadlines. These things require your immediate actions. You then have the not urgent yet important things to do. This has to do with relationship activities, planning, program management, business organizing, etc. These are the things that we need to do. These are the things that we tend to procrastinate upon the most, yet they are the most important things we need to pay attention to. Also, you have the urgent, not important things. These are the interruptions, the phone calls, emails, meetings, reports. These are the things that we need to minimize. I'm not saying to eliminate, or do them after the non-urgent important things. So you can't postpone a program management action to answer some phone calls or emails unless these phone calls and emails do have something to do with the program management or maybe business organizing or maybe relationship activities, right? So that's why I said calling dad can be non-urgent but yet important thing because it falls under the relationship activities, or it can be an urgent but not important thing because it falls under just phone calls, right? Checking emails can fall under the non-urgent important thing because it has to do with business organizing maybe, or program management, or maybe planning, right? If this is the case, then this is a productive thing to do. If not, then it's an urgent, non-important thing, i.e. it's a waste of time to do now. And then the fourth quadrant, which is the non-urgent, non-important things to do. Again, there you have the emails, phone calls, meetings, reports, TV, and other time wasters. This is the quadrant you have to get away from as far as you can. I also said here emails and phone calls, and these are the least priority thing to do. So in the urgent, non-important, maybe you're responding to non-important emails, right? But in the non-urgent, non-importance, here I'm talking about emails that is asking for your survey because you used their service a while ago. Same with the phone calls, meetings, reports, and other time wasters like TV. And trust me, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference if checking the email is a productive thing to do or a busy thing to do. You can tell the difference if finishing that report is a productive thing to do or the busy thing to do. So pay attention to that. Moving on to the next point, which is the principles. Here I'm going to share with you 4 basic principles that you need to be aware of in the beginning of your productivity journey and choosing tools. First point is why. What is the reason you're starting your productivity journey? Why do you want to be productive? And why do you want to use tools for that? I came across bad and good reasons. Some examples of the bad reasons are, it's a movement. My manager is asking me to do so. Others are doing it. I get to try new tools. So these are bad motives. These are bad reasons. Trust me, if you have one of them as your reason, I'm sure your productivity journey will not last longer. The good reasons, on the other hand, tend to be more personally related, right? So it's like you need to lower your stress levels. You need to manage your time better. You need to grow your business. You need to improve the quality of your life. These are some of the good reasons to start your productivity habit and journey. That's why I did another video on this topic specifically. It's how to be more productive at work. I discussed there the importance of identifying the reason why do you want to be productive at work. I recommend watching it after this video. The other principle is you're human. So the productivity journey is a habit creating. There's always more than you can do, and it's trial and error. By habit creating, I mean that it takes time. You have to take it easy with yourself. Take it step by step. Otherwise, you'll feel overwhelmed by the whole process. You have to avoid some of the bad habits that I call the handbrake effect. Those are the habits that hinder your productivity journey. For example, lack of sleep. So no matter caffeine you have, no matter how good tools you use, you'll still be unproductive because the most important tool in productivity, which is your brain, is not functioning well. Poor prioritization. As we mentioned before, prioritization is the key or the passcode to differentiate between feeling productive and feeling busy. The other bad habit is note-taking with the mind. Trust me, this is the worst tool to take notes with. You have a limited space there. You have a limited storage there. So it's the worst tool you can use it for. And there are some of the bad working habits that again hinders your productivity journey. It's like spending time checking emails without taking appropriate actions towards them. Poor filing and archiving. This is the case for digital and physical files because this makes you feel more stressed. And there is what I call the water dispenser meetings. You take a break with your friend, you go to the water dispenser to have a cup of water, and instead of socializing and asking about each other, you tend to talk about work. And when you guys get back to your workstations, both of you forget the emails or the responses or the actions you agreed upon. So you remind yourselves via email, which should have been the case in the first place, sparing that time for socializing. and having a break from work. There's always more than you can do. I guess this is a no-brainer because we all have the same limited time, 24 hours. We live in this complicated life with growing needs. We are awake in a very limited hours compared to the things that we need to do in those waking hours. That's why it's normal to feel that there's always more than you can do. Again, the passcode here is prioritization. It's trial and error. There is no guarantee that the strategy you chose to start your productivity is going to work. There's no guarantee that the first tool you chose is going to work. That's why you need to explore by yourself. You have to be agile about it. So start and fix along the way. Third principle is it's individualized. So everything that has to do with productivity has to be personalized by you, has to be customized to you. You're the master here. You don't have to follow other rules. You don't have to follow other advices. It's just listening to them, listening to my recommendations in this course can be your guidelines. Again, if you're like me, then maybe the same tools and the same strategies can apply to you. If you're not, then you can learn from the basics I'm sharing here and you can iterate for yourself. You can add or remove as per your personality, as per your journey, as per your wants and needs. Fourth principle is limit the tools. It's one of the showstoppers I mentioned above again. With limiting the tools, you're being more efficient. You have the same shortcuts, so you don't need to learn anything new. It makes your life more harmonized. It makes your journey more harmonized, and it adds more focus. So moving to the other point, which is who needs these tools? Personally, I think productivity should be learned to almost everyone on the planet. But again, some of the people, again, this is as per my experience, some of the people don't need actually to learn all about productivity, maybe one or two things, but other than that, they are happy without it. So I created this list to help identify who needs to learn about productivity and having tools the most. First of all, if you have a project like jobs. So in these jobs, your next actions and tasks are not identified, right? Things like improve health and safety, or if your job is to enhance the engagement, or to manage finance. So the next actions or tasks are not identified. You have to come up with them. And in order to do so, you have to come up with a project. And maybe this project can have multiple sub-projects. And in these sub-projects, you have different tasks. That's why you need to learn about productivity. You need to have the right tools that help you organize and control things for you. On the other hand, there is what I call the task job. And this is the job that has a simple and identified next action. So move X from A to B, or maybe transport something or someone from A to B, revise the papers, stamp the invoices, etc. So if you have one of these jobs, then you might not need to learn so much about productivity, nonetheless have a tool. The next one in my list is the manager, which is obvious because a manager gets to supervise or lead one or more of the project jobs, right? So a manager could be responsible for improving health and safety and enhancing engagement. The other point is if you're living in a fast-paced life, or if you think you live in a fast-paced life and you need something to help you control and organize things for you. The best analogy I can think of is living in the city versus the country. I'm not saying if you're living in the country, you don't need to learn about productivity. I'm just saying that living in the country tend to be in a slower pace than living in the city. That's why living in the city can be more stressful. Another point is if you're a parent. If you are a parent, then for me, learning about productivity and having the right tools is a must to do because you have multiple entries, and the more kids you have, the more entries you will have. So your spouse can ask you for something, the first kid can ask you for another thing, the third kid can ask you for a third thing. That's why you need something to assist you, capturing those entries, organize them in the right time and context, and remind you about them. And the last point is if you have a crowded mind. So regardless of your job, regardless of your marriage situation, if you have a crowded mind, then by all means, you have to learn about productivity and you need to have the right tools for it.